All right, we are going to get started here. So, welcome to the new 2023 SEO formula for med spas and aesthetic practices. So, we're going to be diving into SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. And we're doing that because the Google algorithm, which is really the set of rules that decides how your website is going to show up or not show up, is constantly changing. So it's important to keep your business updated and your website updated so you properly show up when people are searching for services in your area. A lot is changing in search engine optimization and some new trends are emerging. So we want to make sure that your strategy is adapting to make sure you're showing up where prospects are looking for you. So today will be all about SEO, search engine optimization. But SEO is really just one part of what we call the digital dominance marketing method. That method includes a website that's built to convert, SEO, Google Ads, marketing automation, retargeting ads, social media management, paid ads, and lead conversion management. All that comes together for a marketing plan. But today we're going to talk about SEO as part of your overall marketing strategy that will help drive users to your site and convert them into clients. All right, just quick housekeeping. If you guys are ready to learn some stuff here, ready to ask questions, ready to participate, we're more than happy to help. Next 60 minutes or so, you'll be able to hopefully take away some stuff that you can do and fix in your website, or more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So what will we cover today? We're going to cover the latest updates with the Google algorithm. We're going to talk about the things that you may have put in place in the past that could be hurting you and your website now, and also what our new SEO formula is and how to optimize your website using it. Real quickly, who am I? Why should you even listen to me? Why are you spending your time, your lunch hour maybe for some people listening? I've worked in digital marketing since 2007. I've had the opportunity to talk and work with aesthetic practices and med spas across the United States. On a personal note, I'm a self-proclaimed biohacker with an interest in wellness. So I love marketing and I practice wellness. So really the intersection of the two is why I do what I do. Also, this is what we do here at Med Spa Marketing Portal day in and day out. We build websites, we write the copy to optimize the sites, and we make sure our client sites rank and receive traffic to help keep their schedules full. All right, so the question is, does SEO still matter? No, end of webinar. Kidding. Let's show you some metrics here why SEO still does matter. So if you look at Google, and what we just did is we just typed in med spas in Chicago. And typically what happens is this Google local pack or map pack shows up, and 44% of the people that see this result are going to click right on this map pack. Why is that important? Because if you're not showing up in that map pack, you're going to be losing almost close to 50% of the clicks you could be getting. Now, just to give you an example of what the percentage of other clicks are, getting onto these more businesses, which is going to show you the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 results in the map pack, that's only going to be about 8% of the people are clicking on it. If you're running ads, which we do recommend, and when I say ads, that's Google ads, you're going to get about 20%, 19% of the clicks of people looking for whatever the search term they're putting in. Organic, which is going to be right underneath this section, which is also heavily influenced by SEO, will be about 29%. So 44%, 29% of clicks are directly influenced by how you're ranking organically. So does SEO still matter? Yes. It definitely still matters. You can't just rely on paid ads and you can't just rely on pay-per-click alone. You need to have a strong organic strategy in place. Why do you have to have a strategy in place? When we work with our clients, 64% in general of this client's leads came in through organic. When I say organic, that means they found them in Google, went to the website, called them, or found them in Google and never actually went to the website, just clicked on Google My Business profile and called them directly.
No.
I hear you, Tammy. Is that you?
Whoops. Sorry.
No problem. Did you have a question?
No, sorry.
No problem. Okay. So anyway, 64% of the leads that came in were from organic sources. So calls from Google My Business or Google Business Profile, which is called now, and organic calls. So out of those 417 leads, 64% of those are from organic. Now, we are getting calls from PPC, meaning Google Ads. We are getting calls from just web forms that they're not finding on Google or maybe coming directly, but the large majority of it is SEO. So what does that mean? What is SEO? Which is a question a lot of people ask. It stands for search engine optimization. It can really be broken down into 4 different categories. First is going to be on page. The next is going to be your Google Business Profile, which if you don't know what it is, that's the profile that pops up to the right when someone is Googling your services in your area. We're going to talk a little bit about how that pops up and why it pops up. The next is going to be off page, meaning signals that we're sending to Google to say that, hey, rank me, I'm here. And then ongoing content, meaning what new, fresh, novel content are you feeding Google that it can read to understand what you should rank for? Basically, we need to give Google what it wants. You need to optimize your site, put the right keyword in the right areas, and also the speed of your site is super important. For Google Business Profile, you want to make sure you claim and you use the correct business category. We do see this a lot where sometimes you're a med spa and you have plastic surgeon, or you put some type of wellness or some type of category that doesn't mesh with exactly what you're offering. That causes some issues. You want to have a system in place for driving online reviews. That is huge. And we're going to talk about that more and why that matters on a local ranking. You want to be adding new photos on an ongoing basis. You want to be posting about once a week. Not everyone knows you can post on your Google Business Profile. You can post on it just like a social media profile. Signals leveraged, which is off page, which means you want to build expertise, authority, and trust. How do you do that? By having people link to you from their website to your website. And we're going to give you some examples of that. And also having something called your business citations correct. There's companies out there like Yext or other companies that can help you with that. That means your name, address, and phone number needs to be listed properly in all the business directories. If you've moved recently, if you've changed an address and maybe you haven't updated everything, you want to make sure you do that, because if you have errors in that, Google doesn't like that. And then the last step is ongoing content. So you want to keep having fresh content. You want to publish new blog posts, and you want to make sure you have an individual service page for each one of your services. If you get a new laser, make sure that content is always going to be on your site, and then you're pushing out through social media and other channels. All right. So I just put a link in the chat. You can go to medspamarketingportal.com/SEO checklist. And what I did was I put together a free checklist for you guys that you can download. And I'll send this out after the meeting as well, too. That's going to have basically the checklist of just the things we talked about real quickly. So if this is all you take away and you make some changes, it's going to help you. These are the changes you can make on page. We talked about having unique service pages, site speed, getting keywords in your titles of your pages, Google Business Profile, claiming it, posting once a week, adding new photos, ongoing content, so publishing blogs, and then signals leverage, showing that you're an expert, showing that you have experience and that you have an authority and trust. You can do this by building backlinks, which we'll talk a little bit about more, getting your name, address, and phone number correct, and then obviously putting monthly fresh content on your website. Feel free to give me a call, or even you can go to medspamarketingportal.com/recommendation session, and we can just take a look at your site and see what you need help with. All right. So what are the 4 biggest SEO changes? Right now, the 4 biggest we would say is you can no longer get away with duplicate content. We'll get into these. Low quality links pointed back to your site could actually be hurting you. This is a technique that people used to use back in the day that no longer works and actually penalizes your site. And you need a real physical office or location to rank well on Google Maps, which we'll get into. And then also that your site speed does matter for more than a few reasons. Okay, so the first one is you can't get away with duplicate content anymore. What does that mean? We know that most med spas or really aesthetic pros pull from about a 1 to 5 mile radius. And sometimes there could be a lot of little cities and towns in that area. The old way of doing it was agencies would set up multiple different pages targeting those cities. So they would say derma fillers in Schaumburg, derma fillers in Hoffman Estates, derma fillers in Chicago, and you'd be able to rank for that. That doesn't really work anymore. Google now wants you to have unique content on every one of your pages. So each one of those city pages would have to have unique content about the cities. Now, this also goes on to your service pages. What we do see a lot is that med spas will have a general service page for maybe all the neuromodulators or maybe all lasers. But each one of those lasers needs to have its own page because it needs to be relevant. And we'll explain why more. But you can't just put up a nice homepage, a service page with your prices and your services, and a contact page is not going to rank properly in Google. Next, too many irrelevant or low quality links pointed back to your site could actually hurt you. So it used to be all about links, meaning you could just pay someone on Fiverr or Upwork a couple $100 and they would just build you a bunch of backlinks on these real low quality sites and you'd be able to rank. Not only does that not work anymore, you actually would be penalized if that's what you did, or someone did that for you in the past and you didn't even realize. So what you want to do is review your link profile. And there's a way to do this through something called Google Search Console. If you don't know Google Search Console, it's free. You can sign up for it. And then what happens is Google will let you know how people are searching for you, what words they are typing in, but you can also see what backlinks are pointing back to you. If there are any backlinks pointing back to you from spammy sites or anything that doesn't look like you set up intentionally, you can disavow them. That will help. You really want to be building high quality links. When I say building links, what does that mean? if you have a connection to your local chamber of commerce, church groups, or maybe event partners, like you've done an event with a gym or a health food store, anytime you do any type of work with them, if you can get a link from their site back to your site, that has a lot of weight in Google's eyes and it can help in your search engine optimization. Also, if you have clients that have local blogs or maybe mommy blogs or any type of blog in general, if they can write something about their experience or offer you a link that goes from their blog to your site, that's going to help as well. And that's a real easy way to start building backlinks that are local because Google loves to see the local backlinks. The next change is you need a real physical office to rank well in Google Maps. Now, we know most med spas have location, but there are some aesthetic pros out there that maybe are working from home or maybe there's a temporary office set up. So there was a major change in one of the Google updates. Google makes updates to their algorithms to make sure they're not only catching issues, but also giving a good experience to their users. So, and they name them these little names. This was Pigeon. Pigeon primarily addressed local map listings. So the people that took a major hit here were anyone that had fake addresses. Sometimes people put addresses in different locations where they're not even located to try to rank. Can't do that anymore. You can't use UPS stores. You can't use PO boxes. And you can't use virtual offices. We have seen some shared spaces that work, like WeWork type spaces. If you have questions, let us know because I know sometimes people are in shared type rental areas and stuff like that. But in general, you have to have an address and it has to be shown. You can't just hide your address and say you have a service area, which is what people used to do. So you need to have a real physical address in the city you want to rank for. Also, the site speed matters. So how fast your site loads matters. And it's not just because it needs to be good experience. That's a big factor. You want someone to come to your site and not just leave, right? But how fast your website loads plays a role in how you rank. So the user experience, do they have a good experience when they come to your site? The dwell time, which we're going to get into, and the bounce rate. Dwell time is how long someone stays on your site. The bounce rate is do they come and click something or do they just bounce off and leave? We'll explain how you can help those as well too. So you also want to look at mobile and desktop. Your desktop speed and your mobile speed are going to be two different speeds and two different scores. So you got to consider both of those. You could go to something like Google Page Speed Insights. You could just Google this, or here's a link down here you can see. You can type in your URL and it will give you a score. And what you want to do is probably be like 80 to 90 out of 100. And what's that going to do is give you an idea of how well Google thinks your site is performing speed-wise. And then from there, also give you some issues. If you're below that number, it will let you know, hey, here's some things you can fix. So what else has changed? Old-fashioned SEO is no longer effective. If anyone is offering to hack your SEO or to get you on the top of the search rankings in a month, it doesn't work anymore. Or they're selling you something that you probably shouldn't be interested in. In a post panda, pigeon, penguin era, that's the name of all the algorithm changes. It's really about user experience optimization. So it's really adding value. The new SEO approach requires a heavy focus on user experience optimization. What is that? Pretty simple. Google wants their clients or their customers, which are people searching on Google, to have a good experience. If they type in med spa near me and Google returns a med spa that's 40 miles away, not a good experience. We know people aren't going to go there. Or if they're looking for a certain procedure and they return some type of aesthetic practice that doesn't have that procedure, not a good experience. So that's all Google's really interested in. How do they figure out if your site is going to be a good experience? They use something called EAT. It used to be EAT and now they added an extra E. That stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust. So experience and expertise are similar, but Google reads your site and they want to make sure that the person that's writing about the site can demonstrate expertise and they also have firsthand experience on the topic. So if you're writing blogs, if you're writing service pages, if you're writing about your services, Google will read it and they'll rank you according to, is this an expert in the field? Is this someone we should trust? They're also going to look at authority. In general, the more you're linked to other sites out there, the more authority Google is going to give you because they're going to say, if other people are linking to the site, then they must trust it, then we should trust it more and build that authority. And I've said trust a few times, but trust is showcasing your experience, your expertise, and authority really in aggregate. So they're going to look at reviews, not just on Google, but on Facebook and on Yelp and other places. And they just want to make sure that they're sending someone to a trustworthy site. All those things get factored in, and then Google gives you a bit of a ranking there to figure out if you should rank above your competitors, below your competitors, or if you should even show. All right. So what are some of the new ranking factors that Google are considering? So number one is click-through rate. All that means is that if someone types in facial near me and you show up and someone clicks on that result, that will increase your click-through rate. If you keep showing up for something like maybe facials near me and you don't get clicked, you get dinged for that because your click-through rate, how many times people are clicking through you, is going down. Google wants to give results that they know people are going to click on. Your bounce rate, that's something to watch closely. How do you measure your bounce rate? There's something called Google Analytics. Again, another free service you can use to see how many people are coming to my site and just bouncing off. You want a low bounce rate. If someone comes to your site, doesn't click anything and leaves, that's a bounce. You want people to come in and click. You want people to come and interact. Why? Because Google knows that's a good experience for the user. Scroll rate and time on page are two big things as well too. Are they going to be scrolling down your page? Or do they just come and leave? Do they scroll, go up and down? Do they scroll often? And also the time on your page, Google will time that. A real quick tip in order to get people to increase your dwell time to help your SEO is to just put a video on your page. And it doesn't have to be something professional. It could literally be just you with a nice iPhone with a little bit of lighting and just talking about who you are, what you do, and maybe why you're better than competition. And that's it. Someone watches that for a minute, your dwell time goes up by a minute easily. You can start ranking better just by doing that. And then also the number of citations, which is your name, address, and phone number. We talked about those, the number of reviews and the number of backlinks. We keep talking about some of those similar things because those are big factors in what Google was looking at to rank your site. And of course, page speed, not just because of a good experience, but all these things we talked about as well too. If your site doesn't load fast and someone leaves, you get hit on bounce rate, scroll rate, dwell time. Okay, so what is our new SEO formula to rank better? Number one, you want to identify the most important keywords based on your services, your service area, and your search volume. I'm going to give you an example of some keywords after this. So you can take a look at how you do that. But your services and your offerings are basically what your keywords are going to be. Once you have those keywords, you want to set up a great website, not that just looks good, but also is optimized, that has unique pages for every one of your services. And then you want to make sure you're using your keywords in the titles of those pages. And then we talked about unique content every page. I'm just stressing this again. You can't just put all your services on one page, right? And just say, book now. You need to have an individual service page for each service you offer because it needs to be relevant when people are looking for your services. We talked about leveraging multimedia to reduce the bounce rate. Video, everyone talks about it. I know you guys have probably heard it enough, but you don't have to get too crazy with it. You can just shoot a nice video. There's places like Fiverr.com where you can get someone to edit it for you, put that on your site. And not only is it good and interactive, but it's going to help reduce your bounce rate and it's going to help increase your dwell time, which is going to help your SEO. Reviews. I'm sure everyone has talked to you about reviews, but the reviews are going to help you rank higher than people that don't have reviews as good as you. Not as easy as that, but it helps. It's a big signal. You want to build that name, address, and phone number and all those citations. Again, a company like Yext can help you with that, or really most SEO agencies. You want to be posting updated content on an ongoing basis. You want to be building those backlinks that we talked about, which is people linking from someone else's site to your site. And again, you want to track your results. So you want to be able to say, okay, I was not ranking in Google. Now I am ranking in Google, but I'm on page 6. And as the months go by, I'm moving up to page 1. Now I'm getting clicks, and those clicks are resulting in calls, scheduled appointments. That's a big part that a lot of people miss out. So I mentioned the keywords, and you don't have to get too complicated with keywords. There's a lot of keyword research out there, and there's a lot of tools that can help you. But in general, you can just take the services you have and then possibly add your city to service, like Chicago Injectables, Chicago Fillers, Chicago Juvederm. And then those can all become your keywords that you want to rank for on Google that you would track and then also incorporate into your site. So how do you incorporate into your site? The first thing is you want to optimize your website, right? And how do you do that? You need to have a strong website with good content that's a good user experience. So people spend time on it. So people click around and eventually book. Leverage multimedia. We've talked about those videos. Unique service pages. We've talked about that. Unique pages for the individual cities. Those keywords that we just talked about, those need to be used not only in your page, but also on your page titles. The page title is going to be when you Google something, that first line. That's like the page title and the description, as well as underneath it. You want to have your name, address, and number in the footer, and that name, address, and phone number need to be the same as all the citations that are being built. You want to continue blogging with ongoing updates, but you also want to syndicate that blog. So you want to get the blog out. Simply posting it on social media is an easy way to do that. You can write your blogs, take the link, put it out on Facebook, put the link in your bio, on Instagram, and whatever else you guys are using. And you also want to focus on page speed for desktop and mobile. We've gone into the on page a lot. So hopefully you guys are understanding some of the tips and tricks there. As far as off page, there's some things that are in your control and there's some things that are not in your control. The biggest things I would say to claim and optimize your Google business profile. This is an example of a Google business profile. It pops up on the right side. Google wants people just to use this and not go to people's website. So they're giving ways to chat. They're giving ways to call from here. You can go directly to the website. You can call directly. You can see the chat down here. Make sure that is optimized. Make sure there's images of the location. Make sure you're adding photos. And you can also post on here as well too. Down here, you can't see it, but you can make posts just like social media. continue to build up those reviews and leveraging a review management system. Typically, what we do for clients is they send us a list of emails, phone numbers, and then we email and text clients and say, hey, leave us a review. Just by doing that alone, you're going to get a lot of reviews. You'd be surprised how many people like leaving reviews. Some people are just scared to ask for reviews. We've seen that a lot, but you want to have some type of system in place. So as people come in and they have a good experience and leave reviews, the other thing you could do is you can get a link to this Google My Business review area, and I can show you where to get that if you have questions after. And then there's little free websites that can make a QR code out of that link. You print that out, put it by your guys' front desk. And when people leave, say, hey, if you don't mind reviewing, do you mind just scanning this real quick and leaving us a review? You'd be shocked how many times people do that as well too. So those are two real big things. And then of course, building those citations we talked about, make sure your name, address, and phone number is correct, making sure there's links from other people's sites linking back to your site. And then you need some type of strategic content creation. So that could be simple as blogging and then putting out on social media. Having at least that is going to help increase your rankings because you're going to have new content that you can get ranked for. So why do we talk about this? Does this stuff work? Does this stuff matter? I'm just going to give you a real result here. Here's a med spa that we work with in Naperville. When they first came to us, they were having some issues with ranking. They actually weren't in Google for a lot of these procedures, and they just weren't showing up for some of the services people are looking for. After building a new website for them, properly ranking for them, you can see, I think this is in about 2 months, they started showing up number 3, number 7, number 1, number 2, all in Google. And you can see all these have increased. Now, some of them still have to work on, but in general, some of these are great, like microdermabrasion facial near me. They weren't ranking. Now they're number 3. So more than likely they're in that top map pack. And there's 1,600 people in the area looking for that. So that obviously can lead to some business. All right. So real quick, we are coming to the end here before I take any questions. I just want to talk about the importance of local SEO ranking factors. Why does this matter? Because you can rank organically, meaning you can just rank almost like nationwide for anything, or you can rank locally. And this is really where the med spa industry is going to be ranking. It doesn't matter if you rank outside of maybe a 5-mile radius, right? So Google looks at local businesses different than a national business or even an international business. So they have 3 different ranking categories that helps Google figure out how to rank you. So number 1 is proximity. This is really just how close is the person who's typing or searching something to your business, right? You can't really control this, right? If someone isn't close enough to your business, you're probably not going to pop up, but you can use zip codes and some type of geo coordinates and getting yourself listed in Apple Maps and Bing and Google Maps and all that. So how close the person or the proximity matters in the local ranking. Also relevance. So how relevant is the search term for your business? So if someone puts in, like I mentioned before, facials or Silver Max or something, and you don't have that service, you're not going to show up for it. So it's not usually an issue that you don't have a service. It's that you don't have an individual service page or it's not properly laid out so that Google can give back a relevant search result. So you want to make sure what you're writing isn't too complicated so Google can understand it. But you want to make sure your content is optimized. So it knows that, hey, if I went in here and I looked for Botox, your Botox page shows up right away because you have the right keywords, your page titles are optimized, your headings are optimized, and Google reads it, understands, and says, hey, this is what this person is looking for. They're close to your med spa. Let's show you for it. And then the last thing is prominence. This is really if you're an authority. It wants to show good businesses. Doesn't want to show businesses that are doing well through the users, of course, to get that good user experience. So the number of reviews you get here is huge. And those Google reviews help, but so do Facebook and everything else. In general, we do say if you can only get one place, we recommend Google. Hopefully you're getting good 4 or 5-star reviews. If you're not, hopefully you can try to get some more to clean that up. What that's going to help is with your authority and your trust, along with how well your content is written. Do you seem like an expert? Do you seem like you have experience? Do you have other people linking to your site? Even social media mentions, while they're not a direct ranking signal, can help a little bit. And then we talked about your name, address, and phone number, citations, and also the competition, right? If you have 20 med spas in your immediate area, it's going to be a lot harder to rank than if you have 1 or 2. But these are the factors that Google's looking at to see where do you show up in that map pack? How high are you going to show up? And I think that's really it. At this point, I'm ready to take any questions. More than happy to look at your site. More than happy to answer any questions you specifically have about SEO. If you guys need help on anything, feel free to let me know. One thing I would like to offer is we do a free SEO review and visibility scan. Basically, you just let us know what your website is. We run it through our tools. We will show you everything that is right, maybe some things that are wrong, probably give you some suggestions on how you can improve, and just give you a bit of an audit to see where you're ranking, how you can improve. This is a little bit more about what we offer on that. You can give us a call. You can go to medspamarketingportal.com. Either way is fine. Any questions before we end for today? I appreciate your guys' time. I know SEO is not always the most interesting thing in the world, but if you have any questions, please let me know.